I didn't even hear the fork hit the plate. What I heard was my uncle's voice, loud and amused, saying, "Well, not everyone can be successful like your brother, Amanda." And then my mother laughed. That was the moment I understood they'd already decided who I was at this table. I learned early that in my family, value came with applause. My older brother got applause for everything: grades, jobs, engagements, even mistakes, because mistakes meant he was trying. I got responsibility. If something needed fixing, I fixed it. If money came up short, I covered it. If emotions ran high, I smoothed things over. I wasn't praised for being capable, I was expected to be. I became a financial analyst after college. Quiet work, no flashy title, no social media bragging, but it paid steadily and I was good at it. I lived below my means, saved aggressively, and invested carefully. My family never asked how I could afford things. They just assumed I didn't have much because I never talked about it, and because it was convenient for them to believe that. The dinner was my parents' anniversary celebration. Big, formal, extended family flying in, a rented event space dressed up like a luxury restaurant. When my mother called, she said, "Your brother is bringing his new car. Everyone's excited to see how well he's doing." Then a pause. "And you'll come too, right? It would look bad if you didn't." That word, look, sat wrong in my chest. Still, I went. I always did. They seated us deliberately. My brother at the center, his fiancée beside him, parents glowing, me off to the side, near the edge, almost an afterthought. Conversation flowed like a performance. Relatives praised my brother's job title, his lifestyle, his ambition. Then someone turned to me. "So, Amanda," asked an aunt sweetly, "are you still consulting?" The way she said "still" landed like a verdict. Before I could answer, my father jumped in. "Amanda's always been simple. She doesn't need much." Laughter. My uncle leaned back and said it, the line that split the night open. Guess someone has to be the modest one in the family. More laughter. I smiled. I took a sip of water, and I said nothing. That's when I stopped being present emotionally and started observing. I watched who paid attention, who avoided my eyes, who enjoyed the joke a little too much. While dessert was served, my phone buzzed. A bank notification. I didn't check it immediately. Later, in the restroom, I opened my financial app and scrolled. There it was. Receipt 1, monthly mortgage payment for my parents' house. My account, auto-drafted, 5 years, running. Receipt 2, insurance policy renewal. House, vehicles, umbrella coverage. My email, my credit card. Receipt 3, tuition transfer history. My brother's MBA, labeled as temporary family loan. Never repaid. Receipt 4, car down payment, made from my brokerage account, the same car they were praising him for tonight. Receipt 5, utility bills, property taxes, HOA fees, all quietly routed through me. Receipt 6, a spreadsheet I'd built years ago tracking short-term help that had turned into permanent dependence. I locked my phone. My hands were steady. It wasn't ignorance. They knew. They'd always known. They just believed silence meant permission. My parents loved the image of success more than the reality of sustainability. My brother loved being admired without ever asking how things were paid for, and I, quiet, reliable Amanda, made it possible. I wasn't the less successful one. I was the infrastructure. 2 days later, my mother called. "I hope you weren't offended," she said lightly. "Families joke." I didn't argue. Instead, I asked a simple question. "Did you ever plan to tell them?" Silence. My father texted later. "You've always helped because you wanted to. Don't rewrite history." My brother didn't reach out at all, which told me everything. I didn't explode. I organized. I scheduled a family video call to clear the air. When everyone joined, I shared my screen. I said very little. I let the documents speak. Mortgage statements, bank transfers, signed agreements, emails asking me to cover it just this once. I paused after each one. My relatives asked questions. My parents tried to explain. My brother interrupted and incriminated himself by admitting he'd never checked where the money came from. I recorded the call, not to shame them, to protect myself. I hired an attorney, not to sue, but to formalize boundaries. We restructured the mortgage into a documented loan. Utilities were transferred, insurance was reassigned, payments became scheduled, not assumed. My brother had to sell the car. My parents downsized within a year. Some relatives distanced themselves. Others apologized quietly. No dramatic courtroom victory, just accountability. I didn't cut my family off, but I stopped funding illusions. Now, when we sit at tables, conversations are quieter, more careful. No one jokes about success anymore, and I no longer mistake silence for kindness or responsibility for love. They thought success was something you showed. I learned it's something you stop giving away. Have you ever been labeled less successful while secretly holding everything together?